Welcome back. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the life cycle of a servlet. Now, when you see this diagram on my screen, this is the life cycle of a servlet. A servlet gets loaded on startup of the application. Then it calls init, wherein there be some initializing statements, and this will happen only once. Now, after init is called, depending on number of requests that are coming to the servlet, service will be called and it will be serviced. Then finally, when all the requests are serviced, it goes to destroy. So the web container loads the servlet class. It constructs an object of the servlet. It calls init, which is called only once. Then it calls service, which handles the client request. Then finally it calls destroy, which will deallocate, or servlet goes for garbage collection. Every request that comes to the servlet is considered as a thread in case of a servlet. So let us understand this by writing a program. On my screen, you are seeing a servlet called LC servlet. To explain the life cycle of the servlet, now I'm not going to use do post, so I'm going to delete it. There are three methods I told you: the init method, service method, and destroy method. Now let me write the init method. Public void init. See, this is an overridden method of generic servlet. Now here I'm going to print some message. Init. Now before that, I'm going to take a variable called count, which is 1, which is 0, sorry. Then I'm going to increment it. Then I'm going to print count. Then once again, inside do get, which is part of the service method. When I say init, service, and destroy, service method is a very generic method, whereas get, post is a very specific method of the service method. Now here I'm going to increment count again, and I'm going to print count. Let me write this after this. So here I'm going to say request number count. Now let us run this and see. I'm going to run this again. Run on server. Let us see the console. So if you see the console, you are seeing that init is 1. That means init is called the first time. Now it's not printing the count, but the request number is getting printed every time. That means get is getting called, do get is getting called many times, whereas init is called only once. Let's get back to this. Yeah, here we are not printing the count. That is the reason we are not getting the count value. So let me print this count value. Let me refresh. Okay, the server is getting refreshed. So now says init1 request number count equal to 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, which means that do get, which is part of the service method, is called several times, whereas init is called only once. Okay, let me override the destroy method. Now let me run this. Okay, so whenever I refresh, do get is called several times. Now I'll go to the servers. I'll stop the server. Now I go to the console. You can see here destroy is called. So this shows the life cycle of a servlet. See you in the next session.